Here we go. Episode 6 of Chiclets Game Notes. We're all joined here now in Tampa, Florida, NCAA edition. The sun's out, the guns are out. We got everyone in town. Murls, hot off of a plane, landed, didn't even check his bags, beers in the lobby. Unbelievable, legendary move. G's traveling all over North America, mostly just the U.S. when I say that. He's here too, and without further ado, since we're here, since we're doing NCAA, special guest, Murls, give us the introduction.
We're here. We're having our first ever hot stove for Chiclets Game Notes. We brought in UMaine head coach Benny Barr.
Good to be here, guys. I wasn't sure if that was my talk or if we're just...
You're supposed to say something awesome at that point.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, Murl, I appreciate it. You know, we've been talking about this for a long time.
Well, Benny, I'll say this is the first time Murls and I have ever done a show together in the same room with G. Actually, Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. Well, normally we have the big guns here, and we have a much bigger room, too.
Yeah.
We're not squeezed.
We don't have
here.
the suite. Let's put it that way. We're in a little, we're in jerk-off corner over here, me and Murls, doing hand jobs to each other. But we don't have the suite. We don't have couches. We got these sick-ass chairs, but we are in Tampa, Florida. NCAA action. Murls, I just want to get to know what you've been doing lately because it's been all over the place. I've seen videos. Benny, you know this guy better than everything. We're going to get into that. You've been dropping videos. You've been Timra. You've been Sweden. You've been EBR action all over the place. What's life been like?
It's been out of control, completely out of control since the last Chiclets trip, which was chaos. Florida, Arizona, and finished with the outdoor game. I went back home. I did a trip to Ireland with the wife, and then we did a ski family trip. We got the kid out skiing for the first time. The Timra playoff games were electric. Unfortunately, they bowed out in the first round in Game 7. But yeah, it's been a good month.
Yeah, I've been following. I've loved it. Your content's amazing. People love you. I work all the Pens games. I'm around rinks all over the place. G, I talk to you quite a bit about this stuff. EBR, fucking EBR, RB. I'm like live on the air. It's like game notes. You got to check the game notes. So thank you to everyone for following along, following Murls. Following us, G.
We also got to see your the home field. We got to come to your house this past week.
Yeah, I loved it. So you guys popped in for a Pink Whitney bottle signing, and I was like, dude, I was so ready for them though. I was loving it. I'm like, I'll come pick you guys up. We're like, whatever you guys want to do. You want to go eat dinner? We'll go eat dinner. And they agreed. They just were like, no, dude, let's watch the hockey game. Let's go to your house. Let's watch a game. Whit had some money going. He wanted to watch hockey. We got burritos.
The wine was flowing.
The wine was flowing. We got some wine going for the boys. Quater was there too, sick hair and everything. Don't let Quater hang around with your wives. It's too good looking.
Yeah, we figured that out at New Year's at Witt's.
Is that out?
Yeah, he was up in the kitchen.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. But nonetheless, it was awesome to have you guys at my place. Murls, I wish you could have been there too. But great to be here for kind of I think an awesome event. I got to go to one Frozen Four in Pittsburgh. They hosted a few years ago. It was during COVID as it kind of started to release a little bit, so there wasn't a lot of fans.
Who won that? That was
yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
so you can.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why we brought him in.
Yes.
Yeah. This guy's got the Frozen Four experience. That's why we had to bring him in.
I was at the game, and that's why we got Benny here. So, a little more about Benny. Give us some Benny action here, Murls, about him and his life in hockey and your guys' relationship, which I think is like totally hockey.
Yeah. Well, we met at RPI. He was 2 years below me. He was a freshman. I was the junior. I had the big hockey house on campus. I was the one, watching the games at night. He wanted to get out of his little dorm room. He'd come hang out at the hockey house.
Hold on. What was this hockey house like? Was it a real hockey? Like, what does that mean?
It was just,
I played in the CHL. I played in the Western League. What's this hockey house?
Well, so Murl was from Troy and was playing college hockey in Troy, and he was obviously a really good college hockey player. So he was like the mayor of the city. So he had the house on the corner right in front of the rink that was like...
Oh, so it's legit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's serious.
Yeah. Like everybody in the town had to like pass by it every day, and everyone knew he lived there. And then I moved in the next year with him.
Yep. And then things really took off. I graduated. I turned pro. Benny graduated, and I got a phone call one night. I think it was a Friday night. He's like, "Hey, Murl," he's like, I'm done school. I don't know what I'm doing. Can I come stay at your house, like crash on the couch for a night? I'm like, absolutely. Like, we're going out tonight. Like, we're going. So he comes over. He has 2 bags. This guy has 2 bags of his whole possessions from 4 years of college.
Yeah, he's holding nothing.
Yeah, so he dumps those in the living room. We go out all night. We wake up the next day. Nobody's in any shape to make any sort of decisions. So we go out again. That's 2 nights. Fast forward 9 years later, he finally leaves. He gets the assistant coaching job at Providence College when he finally left.
Well, and he took his duffel bags to Providence and started getting her going. But I think Benny's life in hockey is pretty cool. Not only meeting you, but his connection to hockey, through the Shattuck program, which maybe we'll start there with you, Benny, and just before we get to where you're finally at Maine. Mm-hmm. Tell us about Shattuck, because obviously that program's fairly renowned. I think a lot of names have come through there.
Yeah,
Crosby. But you started it.
Yeah, I started it.
Don't be humble.
No,
this is Game Notes.
So
time to brag.
Yeah, so I was fortunate. So my dad and my uncle both went to Shattuck in the 70s. It was a military school. So they always wanted me. I'm from Minnesota. They always wanted me to go there. So I was going to go there no matter what. And I happened to be there when they decided hockey is going to be what keeps the school is almost closed. And
hockey's going to keep the lights on.
Hockey's going to keep the lights on. And, I was there for 4 years. And I was not a good hockey player. And Merle can attest to that.
Hard worker.
And, 4 years later, it was right place, right time. And we talked a little bit about that, Army downstairs with your, it's you just get fortunate to be at the right place in the right time in the hockey world a lot. And then I was the right place, the right time. I got to live at Merle's place for 9 years when I was trying to become a coach. And, so that was the first really fortunate thing that I had happen to me, just to be able to be at Shattuck St. Mary's for 4 years.
Which players were there with you that the fans would know of? NHL guys, NHL legends.
Yeah, so our class, Ryan Caldwell and Max Bull and
I saw Caldwell the other day at the he's scouting. Who's he scouting with? Winnipeg?
Yeah,
I saw him in
Winnipeg.
Yeah, scouting.
So he was one of the with Troy Weebler, Mike Carpentier. Those are us. These are guys that didn't play pro. Obviously Caldwell did, but Benny Eves came the second year, and Pat Eves, and then the Parisis were the guys that you were. And then after
Parisi's still playing.
It's unbelievable, and he's having a good year.
Yeah,
he
said he's going to play again. I think.
Did he really?
He said the other day. Yeah, he doesn't know what next year will hold, but he doesn't want to hang him up yet. So
he'll be back.
He'll be back.
G?
Yeah.
He'll be back.
G knows these guys. He's text them.
Yeah, and then it just blew up after that. Our
well,
team.
I think you said. What do you say? You coached you too. You had. I think that's probably what.
Yeah, I mean, it was, JP Parisi was there. He coached us, and I was a Bantam in 9th grade. And then Brian Riley, who's the head coach of Army now, was there. Andy Murray came through. Tom Ward was my coach, who's there still, was my coach my senior year. So, and there's many others. There were 6 teams every year, I think, at the school. So
Andy Murray.
Yeah.
And his voice, that's just so, it's like he was breathing in when he was talking all the time. But
and then I went and coached with Andy at Western Michigan for 2 years. So yeah, and I played with Brady. Brady was one of my teammates. Brady, his son Brady. So yeah, just right place at the right time.
I won a gold medal with Andy Murray at World Championships in Moscow, Russia in 2007, which was crazy. But he's on you all the time, so you could see how. The program would run, tickety boom with those guys in there and those kinds of hockey people in there at such a young age, right?
Well, that was the thing. We were 16 when he came. He was there for 1 year. I think he had just taken. I think he was an assistant somewhere in the NHL, and he took a year off. His kids went to Shattuck, and he came in for that 1 year. I mean, we would die in every word he said, and we won the national championship. And then that was the first one that the school won. And then after that, it just went crazy. And the next year, he was the head coach of the LA Kings. So we're our coach just went from Shattuck, and now he's the head coach of the LA Kings. And we were just it was a wild ride, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what that program does, I think, though, right? If you say you went to Shattuck, I don't know. Gee, you tell me too. We're hockey guys, but does Shattuck just when you breathe that, it just
it's intimidating.
Yeah.
It's intimidating, especially as someone who really, Ben says he wasn't good at hockey. I was not good at hockey. So as someone who wasn't good at hockey, you hear Shattuck and you're just that's untouchable for me. You know what I mean? That's the Crosbys of the world. That's the Ben Barrs of the world. Yeah. That's not the Mike Grinnells of the world. I stay away from Shattuck.
Yeah,
they're not the Ben Bars of the world either.
They're in the national championships now at every level. I looked at them.
They're kind of set the bar for that kind of school/hockey program that a lot of people are trying to copy and do.
Yeah.
And replicate. But yeah, you were there for the start, and that's from there. That's where you went.
I went right to RPI, and I met the Murl. I went as an 18-year-old, which I probably shouldn't have because I didn't know how to even dump the puck in right for 2 years, and I figured it out. And then, and then I
Let
started
me ask
coaching.
you this, Benny. Let me ask you this: should Murls' jersey be hung up at that arena? Because he went back there, and like I feel like they disrespected him a little bit. Like they should have a ceremony, and Murls' jersey should be up there. Like he's pretty good, right?
He'll be modest. He was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be one of the top 10 scorers there, probably.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
The old days they were scoring.
Yeah,
I'm actually getting inducted into the RPI Sports Hall of Fame.
Finally.
But it's the same Saturday as the FDNY NYPD game, so I'm not going. So we got to push it back one more year.
Company man right there. Love to see it. Love to see it.
So big sacrifice, Biz. I'm making a big sacrifice to be there at the game.
Yeah, this guy, this guy's a team player through and through. That's why I think you should be hung up there.
A funny story.
I agree. He should be.
A funny story from RPI though was when Benny was a freshman, and I don't know if it was your first game or second game. We actually played UMass, and it's a shit beating. Like we're a shit beating. Like we're
Shit beating, such a Murls line.
We're up 4-0. Like before everybody's even sitting down. 3 minutes into the game, all of a sudden they start a fight. Benny gets in there. Benny gets right in there. Gets right in the mix. Doesn't know the rules. He gets tossed from the game. He gets tossed for fighting. So like him and 2 other guys get tossed from fighting. Next thing you know, he's in the locker room. The horn just keeps going off. 9 goals we scored. I think we won 9-3. There was every other freshman scored their first goal of their careers except Benny because he was already kicked out.
I was suspended the next night. If you even look at someone funny in college, you get suspended. So it's,
And I think we won 10-2 the next night. So everybody else scored the next night. Benny had no points and then never recovered after that.
never had any points. Yeah.
So that's where was your college experience. So tell me about RPI though. Like I know pretty well known now your guys' relationship coming up together. I just want to know that time in college because now you work in college hockey and have been for a number of years. Like what was that experience like for you? Did that influence you and guys like Murls or others or
Talk about the ranch.
yeah, the ranch.
Yeah, so I don't want to get sentimental here, but I owe a lot of being able to be a coach in college to Murl, and because we lived together for a long time, and it's really hard to get into coaching. So obviously the 4 years as a player, I loved it. It was great. You make great friends as you do in junior hockey or pro hockey, I'm sure. But college is special, and it was a really fun 4 years. But my friendship with Murl is really what's allowing me to sit here right now because I had to volunteer for 2 years. I was working at a bank and basically squatting in Murl's house for almost 10 years. So that allowed me to get my first job at Union. And then, we had some success there and then went to a bunch of different places from there. So I owe being able to sit here with you guys today to this guy.
So whoa. You got to tell the people, like our listeners, our fans about this. You squatted at Murl's house. What does that mean? What are we looking at? So you came over, you're going to stay for a couple nights. Boys went out, got shittered. Good weekend, couple double bags.
I'm like, while I'm gone, just pay the water bill, pay the cable bill, and
I kept
that's
the
it.
lights on. So
and you flush the toilet so the water pipe doesn't break. That's
just take care of the house a bit.
Yeah.
Rent free, no big deal.
Yeah.
And so that continued forever. So you guys are like, you guys were virtually broke.
No, I asked him to do one thing. One time he calls me. I don't know where I was at this point, and he's like, "Oh, the dishwasher broke." And I'm like, "All right, here's $500. Just get a new dishwasher in there. I'm not dealing with this. I'm probably down in Wilkes-Barre, drunk with you somewhere, the Woodlands."
You weren't.
Next thing you know, 4 days later, he calls me. He's like, "Oh, I got a great deal." He goes, "I had this guy come up and art, and he just put in a new piece. It only cost me $200." I'm like, "So wait, we still have that 1979 dishwasher?" He's like, "Yeah, but it's running great. I got this new part for it."
Still there, I think. It's still going. But the part of that.
The one thing I asked him to do, he couldn't do it.
Well, you told me to talk to your mom, who knows somebody. Your mom knew. She gave me art. So your mom, who's a saint, she was I got to throw her under the bus a little bit. She gave me Art's number. So.
Well, and so that relationship, we've got tons of stories from that. You basically making sure Murls can come home in the summer.
Yeah.
But that led which you said the opportunity for you to get into coaching.
Yeah.
And how did that start? Where were you? Who were you with? Kind of what was that like living in Murls' spare room? Well, he was away chasing the dream. You were starting something of your own.
Yeah, so I graduated in 2004, and it was a lockout year in the NHL. So there was no...
It was a fast year in the mine.
Yeah. So for me, who would have been like, playing wasn't really an option. So I started working for HSBC Bank. I living in Murls Place. I was coaching a Pee Wee team, Capital District Selects. And, so I did that for a couple years. And then I think it was 2006 or 7, I started volunteering back at RPI. That's kind of how in college you have to kind of volunteer as an assistant coach to get in, unless you're a big name like Murl would have been or something. Maybe he gets a job right away. But so I volunteered, and it happened to be the year that Jim Montgomery actually was hired as an assistant.
Monty. This is where we need.
Yeah, with Seth Appert. So I shared an office with Monty as a volunteer.
And Seth Appert's Rochester AHL coach right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was in US program for a few years.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I got started. So I did that for a year. Obviously, meeting Monty, and Seth, and obviously, Merle got to know those guys too. And then the next year, Union College, Nate Lehman was the head coach at Union College, and he lost an assistant like a week before the season started. And this was before Union ever won anything. I got the job there by default. I don't think anyone else was going to come and be there. I just happened to, because I was living at the ranch, I got the job, and I didn't, I'm single. I didn't need, to take a job for $30,000 or whatever it was. And that's how it started. And then we had some success there and went on from there. And, and then Monty was a big reason I got the job at Maine 2 years ago.
I got to go back to the Union, and I knew they were going to have success because, and I always thought, I'm like, I never worried about anything. I'm like, just being a college assistant coach when I'm done playing, like, this is the dream job. It's so easy. This guy, I would come home and I would be sitting there. I'm like, hey, Benny, where are you? He's like, I'm on the way home from Toronto. He's like, I'll probably be home around 2 a.m. He's like, I'm like, oh, all right, cool. I guess like you're not watching the late game with me. So I'd go to bed. I'd wake up next morning, 8 a.m. and he's gone. So I call him like, dude, where the fuck are you?
Where's my bacon and eggs?
He's like, I got to go watch this game in Connecticut. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing? He's like, I got to recruit. He's like, we're Union, like we're not getting the big names. Like we got to be out there. Yeah. This guy was never home. He was on the recruiting trail nonstop. And one, it showed me that I'm never going to be a college assistant coach. And two, that they were going to be successful. And I don't know how many years later you won the national championship with all the guys you recruited. You weren't there, but it was all the guys you recruited.
Yeah, that was fun. Nate Lehman obviously he's a coach at Providence now, but he's been the world junior coach and has had a ton of success, and they won at Providence a national championship as well. And so just and Rick Bennett was there as the other assistant who won at Union as a head coach. So again, kind of the right place at the right time. And we had nothing. It was. I tell a lot of people that they probably would have made movies about that if hockey was like basketball or football. Because we didn't have any scholarships. It was a Division III school, and for that school to win a national championship is like, it really changed the whole dynamic of college hockey. Because now like schools started putting a lot more money into it. If they can do it, anyone can do it. And then you see like we went to Providence. They need a lot of money to go to Providence, and and UMass. So now there's teams that weren't necessarily powerhouses when we played that are really good now. And I think that Union thing kind of changed the whole dynamic.
Well, not a lot of teams have a Benny Barr. I think that's fair to say, right?
And what do you think like makes Nate Lehman such a good coach? Because I was such an advocate of when the Bruins job opened up, Murls is pulling for Monty.
You went outside the box.
I wanted the Beast to look at Nate Lehman. Like I thought he's done such a good job at Providence. Everyone speaks so highly of him. I'm shocked he hasn't made the jump to the NHL yet. But like, why is he such a good coach? Is it recruiting? Is it how he treats the players? Like, what makes him so awesome?
I think he's a really smart guy. He's really detailed. Doesn't miss anything. He's got almost like a photographic memory, of the game as it's happening, and that's what I learned from him. He could remember 2 shifts ago if you missed a hit, and they got 10 seconds later there's a scoring chance. Hey, finish that hit not on the forecheck because your guy. So and that's something like not a lot of guys. I mean, that was really impressive. So I think that's he's a super detailed guy and a really smart coach. So I think that's probably the reason.
So you took that from him. You worked with Monty, who's, had NHL experience now, and I mean, franchise setting season with the Bruins, his first year there. Like when you were playing and like playing with Murls and these like lunatics, like, did you think you'd be a coach? Did you like take like to the recruiting part? Were you like, yeah, maybe I'm a recruiter guy and like this is how I carve my teeth? Or were you a drill rat? Were you have a little book you wrote shit down?
And I want to know if Murl, did you think he'd be a coach as well?
I will say this, like, because I was a lunatic.
Because
I was my flying.
You got to be a certain person to be a coach. I think that's why I asked that, because I think I'd be a good assistant coach. Like, I'm good with the guys. I'm good with the details. I'm good at watching like a drill and being like, hey, like, listen, like that wasn't close. Like, you need to do this, and this differently. Like, to be a coach, you have to run the show and like be very detailed, as you mentioned. I know maybe you could learn to be like that, but like, was it something?
Yeah, he was just like, I was like, oh, let's just have fun. If we have fun, then we're going to win. Like, I'm still going to get my 2 points. Like, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, dude, that's not how it works. He's like, you work hard, you win, then you get to have the fun. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is weird talk. Like, what are you talking about? I get all the points, I have fun, then we'll win. Just play me more and we'll win. He's like, no, you got to have everybody invested. You need to have your fourth line guys invested, where I wanted to just play the whole game and win the game for the team. He's like, no, you need to have a whole team culture. You need to have all 4 lines invested, and then the fun comes after you win, which he actually taught me that as a guy 2 years younger than me.
So you saw kind of like overall aspect brain kind of working, right?
But that goes back to the Shattuck thing, though, because I learned that, like, that was just me. I got that at Shattuck, like everybody mattered, everything mattered, and that's, so just being there. I mean, I'm not smarter than any other coach or anything, but and then just finding the right people, like the recruit. I got the reputation of being a good recruiter, and I don't think I'm not a good salesman. I'm not that
banker.
guy.
I mean, you were a banker.
I'm kind of a dork and nerd, and like, our staff at Maine gives me, Jason Fortier and Alfie Michaud, Matt Vandenberg they think I have no fun all the time. And I'm like, well, I have fun sometimes, but someday when we win the whole thing, and then we'll have fun, but that was really something that at Shattuck that I learned at a young age, and finding the right people to fit into that, you know.
So it's ingrained in you. You've got experience, volunteering around and landing some pretty lucky breaks. Murls' house gives you opportunity to do a bunch of different things, but that's where I'm like, you came out of school, you got a banking job, you're sleeping on his couch, you got a spare room in his house, you upgraded, and then all of a sudden, like, you're starting to do it and you're like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Like, I'm not bad. Like, I'm around some pretty good people. Like, I'm going to be a coach. Because do you just need the break, or was that something that you wanted to stay in the game, even like, oh, I just want to stay in the game. This is great. That's why I like doing what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm around the game, around my best buddies, and I get to talk about hockey still, and it's like I'm still in the game somehow. For you, was that the same kind of thing?
Like I knew I wasn't good enough to play. I could have played, for a few years at, low-level minor league hockey, but I knew I wasn't good enough to do that. So you're just kind of, it's really hard to get into the college game unless you're single and you have a good friend, unless you come from a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to make money for a while. And so you volunteer, you pay your dues.
Like Monty started.
My brother's doing it.
Monty's one of the third all-time in NCAA scoring, played 15 years pro. His first job coaching was a volunteer at Notre Dame. Like, a guy like that still has got to volunteer.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get in, and then you just need to have some, like, honestly, being able to live with Murl, do that. And then you just get a break, and then to get a break, and hopefully, and then I got a break because my first job was with Nate Lehman and Rick Bennett, and then we had success, and you go from there, and it happens pretty quick. It's no different as a player, I'm sure, right? You get your chance, and hopefully you hit that window.
Yeah. The coach likes you. You play with good players. Like, your team's good. Like, a lot of things have to work out. Thank you, Crosby. Yeah. But I don't know where you want to go with him next. I want to ask him about UMass.
Yeah, that's what I want to go to UMass, where you get to play with, you get to coach another great coach, and then some great players, because we got a lot of NHL fans that don't want to hear, why have you asked about Makar yet? Why have you asked about Kale yet?
Yeah. So I was at Western Michigan for a couple of years, and I knew I kind of wanted to come back out east. My wife Tara's from the Albany area, and so UMass job opened up, and I actually interviewed for the head coaching job. I knew I wasn't going to get it. They wanted somebody with experience, so Greg Carville got it, and I just kind of called him. I'm like, hey, can I come back? And I didn't know him. And he was like, sure.
Wow, that's amazing too, because a lot of those guys want to bring their guys, right? Like they have their guys they know.
Yeah.
And
he did. He brought, so Jared DeMichael was the other assistant. They were at St. Lawrence together. So he brought Jared, and then he needed one other assistant. So I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. And, we got there. We won 5 games our first year. We were maybe the worst team in college hockey. And then and Cale McCarr was already committed to UMass before we got there. And we're just like, oh man, there's no chance. Like, I tell
to lose them.
Because in today's day and age, coaching staff gets fired, the team is not doing well. 999 times out of 1,000, there's no chance that kid shows up at, and that just kind of tells you what kind of person he is and what kind of family they are. So that whole first year, we won 5 games. We're just waiting for that call from Cale. He's on the draft list. He's like, oh, he might be the number 1 pick. And we're just like, losing. And we're just going, oh man. And it never even, you'd have to ask him, but I don't even know if it ever occurred to him to like not come to UMass. And
he's going to play college hockey. He's playing, where's he playing for
he was in Brooks
Bandits.
Yeah, Brooks Bandits.
Yeah.
No, Brutally. Yeah. And and like he's just having a historic year. Their team wins every, was going up the draft board and the draft rankings and, became top 5 picks. So, yeah, so he comes the next year. We had some other really good players around him. That was the one thing that, we were able to get some other guys that, so it wasn't just, you couldn't just be Cale in a team that won 5 games. We had some other guys, and a lot of those guys are playing in the NHL now too. But, and that was, it was a crazy, I was there for 5 years and we won in 21. And it was, everyone thought when Cale was there for 2 years and Mario Ferraro and Mitch Chafee, some of these guys that are playing in the NHL, and, they left and the culture got so good that, everyone thought when, he left, UMass will go back to being, and then we just kept winning, and we won 2 years after all those guys left, and we had obviously some really good players on our team at that time too. So, and then right after we won in 21, I had the next week my wife gave birth to twins, and then I got the call for this Maine thing. Maine's coach, Red Gender, now unfortunately passed away during the Frozen Four, so it was a whirlwind. And then, yeah.
Can I ask, UMass is notorious. I mean, it's called the zoo, right? It's like it is a fun fucking time. It's a blast. As a coach, how do you, and especially as the assistant, how are you keeping these kids in line? Because it's got to be tough to go to UMass Amherst and not get in trouble every night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just getting the right people. And we couldn't. We had that. Our whole thing when we got there, and this was Carvey's thing, was the UMass thing, and he just was like, hey, this isn't us, right? We can't, that culture of hey, we go out every night, and that, I get it, and we all have been there, but if we're trying to turn something around, we can't be that, and it's the same for us at Maine right now, and we have a really good culture, which is why our team is starting to get better, and so we had to separate ourselves from that a little bit and get the right people, and having guys like Cale, and so, they're serious hockey players, right? They're not.
Can he still help you too? Does he still make calls for you guys? Does he still help or you're not there anymore?
That's illegal, isn't it?
Yeah, is that illegal? Can guys do that? I mean, with NIL?
I don't think his younger brother Taylor's at UMass now. That so we recruited him there afterwards. But one of my assistants, Alfie Michaud, was just out in Denver. His daughter's team was in the I think U14 nationals in Denver, and he went and said hi to their team. I mean, he's just, I gave Alfie his number. So he's, one of the best people you could ever meet. So yeah, you can always, he doesn't forget where he comes from, no question. So, yeah.
And so I just thinking now, you take that experience, you take that, I don't know, culture. It's something when I got traded from Pittsburgh, for example, I went to Atlanta, I could barely say Atlanta. And it's it's not close.
Yeah.
You walk in there, it's not close. And it's I think other guys probably leave certain situations or bring up where they were all the time just because you're searching for kind of that recipe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you take that now into your new gig, and it starts all over. The wicked beast of coaching, never mind coaching, but college coaching and recruiting. How's the transition over to this new program been for you and searching for that?
Yeah. I mean, this is my first head coaching job. So that was, I mean, hockey's hockey, so, you always think you know what you're getting into, and you think you're it's just like as a player, you think you can coach, and then you start doing it and you're like, oh, this is a lot different, than I remember I went through that as an assistant. But so there's a bit of that, and, we won 7 games. It's almost the same thing. Won 7 games our first year. I knew what I was getting into, and, we got a really good staff, and we've got some fantastic players that are in our program now and that are coming. We got much better this year. We got around 500. And I'm hoping the next year, usually it's year 3 where you take a big step. And but the one thing for me at Maine is like, Murl, you would know this. It's unbelievably passionate people. And so the one thing I wasn't ready for was how much the people care about. When we went to UMass, like we had an 8,000 seat arena. There'd be 200 people there for the first couple years at times until we started, so you have, which is almost kind of nice. No one's like bothering you, That mean like it's full almost every night, no matter what. It's kind of like you guys Wilkes-Barre
You're the only
thing.
show in town.
Yeah.
It's like Wilkes-Barre. You're the only thing in town. You're on the front page of the sports page every day. You're going through the airport. You're getting recognized. You're at the grocery store. Your wife's probably getting recognized at the nursery school. Like,
really,
it's the only show in town.
Yeah.
Great place to go play. You're basically like a pro.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And like I'd been there as a visitor because I had Providence and UMass, so I've been there many times, and how awesome a place it is. But it's that was the one thing for me, like handling my first year, because our team was not very good, and you feel like dealing with the emotions because the people still like they love it so much, so you feel like bad about it, and now, started to show a little bit of progress this year, and you see like every night the place is packed like an hour before the game, and you're just like, man, like once we get this thing going, it's going to be, and we
even crazy.
And, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But for me, it was like trying to, as a head coach, managing the emotional piece of that, not letting that get to you, especially the first year when you're going to go through it a little bit,
Me and G did the tour of the Arizona State locker room, and, that was a success. I told you right away we want to come up there, but you told me we got to wait. Why we got to wait?
Gotta wait because we're going to renovate our rink, and we're going to start that this summer, which is, really exciting. It's not much has changed up there since the teams in the 90s that won.
Korea's taking shits on the toilet. Those are the same ones Benny Barr's like sitting on. Yeah,
it might be the same the same bathroom that was. Like you'd have to ask Monty and Paul that same stalls. Yeah, like
Monty's there. Yeah, just throwing snot rockets.
Yeah, so that's starting this year. So, hey, when that thing gets finished, you guys can be the ones to come through.
Boom. Gee.
Give the new tune. I saw the Arizona State thing, so that was pretty cool. So, standing open invitation for when that all gets finished.
Let me ask you about like guys like Monty, Korea. Like you could name people that have come through Maine, and the program's been around for a while. Obviously, when names like that jump out, guys that have awesome college careers that kind of put splash like UMass with Makar, right? Like everyone thinks of that. Is it as a head coach coming into a program that's established and has had a history? Does that weigh on you at all? Like, you're wearing that golf shirt right now and representing them and like, I don't know, like I think, it's got to be something that you come in and you're like, whoa, dude, this has been around a while. Like there's a lot of stuff here that I have to, uphold.
Yeah, no, it was really different for me because everywhere else, Union and Providence and UMass, it was really the first time that ever happened. So there really wasn't that long tradition. So at Maine, there is. So, that's why there's such that passionate fan base. So that was different for me, like dealing with that and meeting a lot of these alums that are, the program has only been since like I think the early 80s is really when they went deep. So it hasn't even been around that long. And there, if you walk into the rink, there's a wall of dozens and dozens and dozens of NHLers. And it's unbelievable what happened up there in the late 80s, all through the 90s and early 2000s. So it can be intimidating, and that's, so, it's nice to, have it in with like a Monty before that, right? Like, that he can, knowing him and, he obviously has a voice with a lot of the alums and stuff. So he's been very helpful.
And Murro, that's like when we went to camp in Pittsburgh and we saw Mario.
Yeah.
Hey? We couldn't even talk. It's like you're
What do you say? Yeah.
nothing. You look at us. We were just like looking at him though. We're like,
I remember my first practice. And remember there was the 3 teams, A, B, and C. And then Mario just wasn't on a roster. He would just show up. I don't know if I've told this story before in Chiclets. He would just show up whenever he wanted, whenever his tea time was. If his tea time was early, he'd come
on.
at C.
I don't remember that.
And then if the tea time was later, he'd skate with A to get it out of the way. So this is my first camp ever. And I know the roster, who's going to be out there. I got this figured out. All of a sudden, 66 comes on the ice. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, holy cow. So it's the first drill. It's 4 blue lines. It's just the easiest drill. Go down, make a pass. Holy shit.
You can't pass it off?
My first pass in an NHL training camp is Mario Lemieux coming through the neutral zone at me. Just put it in front of him. Just lay it out in front of him, Matt. Nope. Ripped it right off his skate.
I know.
Obviously, though, such a legend. He picks it up, takes it down, and goes down and scores it.
Yeah.
I was never so nervous in my life. And
There you go, Benny. A little coaching advice for you, and you can tell this to your players. You can't give a good player a bad pass, right? Yeah. That old saying holds up.
So when you're recruiting brothers, though, how does that work? I've always wondered this. Like, do you go in being like, I want you, and they're like, well, you can take him if you take these 2 brothers, or do you go in being like, I want all 3 of them?
Well, so one of them was already committed to Maine. They're from a couple hours just over the border in New Brunswick. Just so, geographically, they're actually from pretty close to our school. So one of the brothers, the older one, was already committed to Maine when I got there, and then heard about the younger one, Brad. They were playing in the Maritimes, which you don't see. Like, I never really recruited that area at other schools and stuff. And you would know it's not like. You got Halifax, but they were playing in the Maritime Tier 2 Junior League, and the young one was playing Maritime Midget, so I was really unfamiliar with it. And then they went out to Penticton the first summer, and they both start lighting it up right away. And the younger one, who's going to be, he might be a 1st or 2nd round draft pick this year, I think. They could have gone anywhere. So again, they're very, very down to earth, great people. They're coming to Maine because outside of the hockey piece, it's close to their family can come and watch. And so it was almost similar to the Kale thing a little bit, where like one of them was already coming. The team wasn't doing great. The staff turns over, and then the younger one's still coming because they did their homework and they're comfortable with it. And obviously we're pretty fortunate there. So
the way I explain it, everybody's like, how does Benny keep doing all this recruiting? You've met him now. You've known him for a couple hours. If you're a mom, do you not feel safe sending your little?
Well, he did pay for our beers too. He did pay for our beers.
And I mean, get to that. Then he goes out with the dad. And he's picking up the beer tab with the dad. They go home the next day like, oh, what a guy! Like, of course we're sending our kid off with him.
No girls. He's like a proud papa.
Yeah.
No, he's so proud of you.
It's actually though. We were talking about that. It's this new transfer portal thing that's new in the NCAA, where kids, it's basically free agency every year now. Is it really makes it like we have to be really good at what we do. And I'm not saying we're the best or anything, but like our culture has to be fantastic, and we have to have the right people there, or else, I mean, as players, like culture, if it's BS, you're gonna go, right? Like if when we went to school, you were basically hostage. You weren't gonna go because you had to sit out a year if you went somewhere else. So it really holds the mirror to us to be really good at what we do and have a real, our players have to get better. They have to be pushed, and we can't be full of shit ourselves, basically, as coaches, or else these kids are going to go. And so I'm not a great wordsmith or salesman or anything like that, but like, hopefully there's enough players over the time that, players talk to players. That's how you get players. It's not anything I say, it's not the fancy locker rooms and the atmosphere, even though we have that, it's, They want to know that they're going to have a chance to win championships and move on. That's all they care about.
The message, the experience, the culture, and then an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
That's what like kids want. And Maine's a serious hockey place.
Yeah.
It's not you're going there to fucking golf in the summer. Like you're going there to golf on your off days. I mean, during the season, you're coming there, you're going to school, and you're going to get kicked in the ass and pushed to the next level.
Yeah.
At a program like that, right? That's what you're.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do your sales pitch for you. Wake the fuck up. We're going to send Benny Barr also out to Saskatchewan. If he's hitting up Halifax, the good people of Halifax, the Maritimes people, which I love, they remind me of my people from Saskatchewan. We're going to send Benny out recruiting in Sasky. Sasky, get ready.
Go stay at the Broad
Black Bear. You go see Kevin Broad's house in Saskatoon. There he is, right there. Brother
Got him in there.
Another guy that
good
used to
shout out.
squat at my house. Rent free.
There you go, Broader. You finally got your shout out. Quit texting us.
All right, Benny, you got big things going up in Maine. Great program. Hopefully we'll see you here next year at the Frozen Four.
And that's why we're here, too. Let's talk about the Frozen Four, Benny. We got you here. We got an expert. We got a coach. We got a guy that knows it all. All right, guys, before we move any further, I got to interrupt for a very important announcement. That's right. I'm talking to you about Mugsy jeans, the most comfortable jeans, chinos, joggers ever made. There's no question about it. Perfect for guys with thick thighs and a big behind. Shake it, give it what your mama give you. The stretch, softness, and flexibility are life-changing. Perfect for hockey players. Guess what? I'm a hockey player. Mugsy jeans. Hello. Perfect for hockey players? Ask Murls. Huge ass. Loves Mugsies. These things will comfortably move with you and those tree trunks of yours, Murls. Anyways, the proud official apparel sponsor of the FDNY NYPD Hockey Heroes game. Made from buttery, soft, patented stretch materials that look stylish but are insanely comfortable. They're frankly the best thing to happen to legs since, well, chairs. Never in human history have legs been so spoiled by pure softness and comfort while looking so damn good effortlessly. It's effortless for them. Hands down, the greatest jeans, chinos, and joggers ever made, and they're 10% off now using code Chiclets at Mugsy.com. That's 10% off. Absolutely ridiculous comfort. You can't beat it. That will cause you to never wear anything else ever again. Trust me. And oh yeah, they're fully backed by a 100% comfort guarantee, meaning every single order gets free shipping and free returns if they don't fit or whatever. Try out a pair, risk-free, today and see why over 16,000 guys with huge, massive asses and thighs have changed their lives with Mugsy. Use code Chiclets at Mugsy.com for 10% off. I'm looking at it. Minnesota, Michigan, Quinnipiac, Boston University, BU, a Witzold team. Oh, Witzold team. It should be a good one. I know looking at all these teams in their run and cooking through on their way here to Tampa. By the way, they give them those brutal fucking like cardboard things like, we made it to Tampa. Like, don't they do better shit in college? Like, are you getting a cardboard cutout to take a picture?
Do they cut out the nets? Like the basketball? Or
Yeah, they do that if you win. Yeah.
is that only for the title or the regionals?
Just the title.
Oh, just...
Well, I don't know. You could probably do it in the regionals.
The regionals.
You could do it in the regionals. You know, like...
We're cutting nets out, though. It's college hockey. We do whatever we want. We got 4 really good teams here, though. I think all possess something different about them, whether it's skill with those Michigan, Minnesota teams. It's lockdown defense. I feel like Quinnipiac's just a rock and a team that comes through there. And then BU has, a little bit of everything as well on their way here. So, looking at this tournament, what are we to expect?
What do you like?
What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think it's
so different for me. I'll say that's just because it's like I watched Penn State almost knock off Michigan, who is a team that everyone looks at. I'm like, thinking in my head, I'm like, fuck, if that was a 7-game series, Penn State could maybe have had. I'm like, the way they played, like they surprised me. And this is like, one and done college stuff. So you never know, but what are we to expect from this kind of format, this kind of tournament, and these kinds of teams?
Yeah, I think it's a little different than this Frozen Four. To me, is a little different than the last probably 4 or 5 because you have, 3 of the most
blue bloods.
4, with BU, Michigan, Minnesota, we're just loaded with talent and high end young kids, and then Quinnipiac is obviously very, very good too, but they're older, so it's almost a very, it's totally different, kind of styles of play. I honestly think anybody could win. I don't know those Western teams as well. We played Quinnipiac and BU. BU scored.
You beat Quinnipiac, didn't you?
Beat Quinnipiac once, which was I think that was our home opener this year.
And what was it? Like, what was the score in that game? Because I looked them up. They don't give up like more than like 2 goals a game.
Yeah, it was 4-0. It was at our rink.
You guys lit them up.
Yeah, well, we didn't light them up, but we got we at our rink. And if you get the first goal, I think they're a team. Then the next night, I think they beat us like 5 or 6-2 or something. But
you pissed them off.
Yeah, I mean, if they get they're a very, very well coached team. Those guys do an unbelievable job. So if they get up on you, it's really hard to come back. I think you saw that. Who did they beat? Ohio State in the regional there, and it was they got up. They scored 2 quick goals, and it was just
so. And you just knew it was over. You just feel that it was over.
You feel that they were going to score, and then it was quick, and then the game was over.
Yeah. And BU is like super high octane. Jay Pandolfo's their first year head coach has done an unbelievable job there. And they have a ton of high end skill.
What about this little guy, Lane Hudson?
People don't talk about him as much. He had I don't know the numbers, but close to 50 points. He led Hockey East as a freshman defenseman in scoring.
Sick.
Which is
a modern defenseman.
Yeah. We played them 3 times. I think he had about 15 points in those 3 games. So we saw enough of him. But they have some
Lane Hudson, 15 goals, 33 assists in 38 games played for 48 points.
Yeah.
As a defenseman, as a freshman. Not bad.
So
Where did he come from? Sask?
He was an NTDP guy.
Is he a Sask guy?
He's I can tell you he's a 2nd round draft pick of the Montreal Canadiens, 62nd overall.
Wow, that sounds like a steal.
He's from Holland, Michigan.
Montreal, did you hear that?
Yeah, he's
wow.
So and his brother's on the team too, and I think there's a third one that's at the NTDP now. So it's what he did this year is unbelievable, and he's not one of the Hobie finalists, which is crazy kind of, but to do that as a freshman defenseman is phenomenal.
How do you compare him to Makar when you saw him? Is there any similarities, differences?
Just the Makar whisperer. We got the Makar whisperer.
Well, to put it in perspective, if you look at Kale's 2 years, and as a freshman, Kale had 20-some points at UMass, and this kid has almost 50.
He's probably partying.
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
No, I bet
he wasn't drinking Big Deal brews.
And then obviously Kale had won the Hobie the next year, was a unbelievable player and went right to the NHL. But to put that in perspective, it's pretty crazy.
I mean, his sophomore year, he had 49 points. That's how many Lane had this year. His freshman year, 21.
21. So to think about what Lane did as a freshman this year,
that's
wild. And
no Hobie consideration for that kind of.
Well, I think he was a top 10, but he wasn't a top.
Yeah, the 3 Hobies are Fantilli, Cooley, and Nye.
Yeah. Oh, and obviously all good players. I don't know those Western guys. Obviously, those guys are phenomenal players. So we didn't play either of those 2, Minnesota or Michigan this year. So it's hard for me. I've watched them and know that they have a ton of talent, and I really do believe any of these teams are capable of winning.
I just want to skip something. G said something really awesome on Spittin' Chiclets, our parent station. He said, I got a great idea for college hockey. They should play the regionals in the number 1 team that's ranked first, highest, should host the regionals. I want to go to that just because I think that's an awesome idea. I think that makes the crowds awesome. Yeah, you get home ice advantage, but you earned it. And you earn the crowd. Wouldn't that be awesome?
For
Maine, if you had it, wouldn't you want that if you finish first with your crowd as you're talking about? Shouldn't it be like that?
The atmosphere is the best part of college hockey.
Yeah.
So if you could really bring that out, I feel like that would just grow the game.
That gets talked about because it used to be like that.
It was. I was gonna say. I remember a year Michigan somehow hosted it.
Yeah.
And they weren't even a top seed.
Are they doing this because some of these teams are good multiple years in a row, so they continue to host it?
Providence hosted the year you guys won the national title.
Well, they hosted not at Providence's rink. It was at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. So I think the fairness was a big piece of it, right? Where so it gets talked about every year to go back to that because. A lot of it comes down to dollars and cents at the end of the day. And if you're at a home site, you're going to sell those places out probably. And, depending on who's at what regional, that depends on what attendance is like and that kind of stuff. So it gets talked about all the time, but it becomes tough because there's no standards of every college rink is like a different shape, different size. Yeah.
High Valley or whatever, they hosted, and it was Michigan against Penn State. Penn State's like a couple hours away. I mean, that was a home game for them when I was watching on TV. It was like
totally
all their fans. So what are we doing here? Why are we doing that? Why don't we do it where, some of these teams are the host?
Even the small barns, though, I know the money comes into it, but the small atmosphere of the fans on top of the ice, I personally just think from a camera perspective and viewing it on TV, I just think that's good for the game.
Yeah.
The fans are on top of the ice, screaming every time there's a goal. They're banging on the glass. Like, I just think that looks better than playing in Worcester or in
Manchester at noon. There's nobody. Just see the empty
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you're right, and I just, if you take all 62 or 60, whatever the number of Division I teams, logistically, some places couldn't handle that, and as far as like hotels and
getting Cornell's got 4 teams coming.
Yeah, think about some of the places that you go, and if you're not near a major city, like how are you going to put 4 teams up? So it becomes an issue, but I agree with you. Like in theory, it would make a ton of sense, and they talk about it every year going back.
And you just don't know who's going to be the 1 seeds until
correct,
4 days before it.
Yeah,
so that's a logistics nightmare
that's too. Also, so right until the last game, you don't know who those number 1 seeds are.
Yeah, we're even doing that in the NHL, right? It's like re-ranking for playoffs. That's still a conversation that I think should happen too. I think it should. I think it's got to go right to 1 to 8 and just redo it. So something to think about, something we heard about from a coach as well. Tomorrow night, in Tampa, I don't know, what do you expect from like the atmosphere of the crowd? It's in Tampa. Obviously this is a place that's used to seeing championships. They're going to see another one here this weekend. What do you expect it to be like as far as, you were in it, you were in the tournament, like crowds, fan bases, schools, support? Are we going to show up to the games tomorrow? It's going to be a gong show. Like, is that kind of the expectation?
So I came, it was here in, I think, 2012, and then I think it was here in 26. So Union College was here in 2012. So Nate and I came down here because we had just left Union. So we went to watch the team. It was awesome. This is as good of a place as you can be for a Frozen Four. And every year it moves around. This is probably one of the best ones you can go.
Just because I think it has just like the NHL. Like you come to a game, there's outdoor bars set up. Yeah. It's ready to go with that kind of atmosphere that you want or expect. Not only an NHL game, that's awesome for being down here, but college especially, right?
Yeah, and the fan bases most of them are coming from the deep.
It's a awesome place.
Yeah, so like
we got perfect teams in it too. We got some.
Yeah, you got teams that are very lots of tradition. I think it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. I don't know if I'm even going to go because I hate watching games when we're not playing. It makes me feel like we're
no, you'll be the guy pacing around in the concourse.
I feel like a failure.
You'll be like watching. You'll be like, that guy will be in the portal at the end. Portal, yeah. How's she going?
Yeah. I think you guys have a ton of fun. It was when in 2012, I can say it was unbelievable. I can't imagine it won't be even better.
That's actually true. Minnesota, Michigan, Quinnipiac, Boston University. I might not be the palest guy at the thing. I literally might. That's a great point.
Well, you're going to see a lot of fans from people that haven't seen the sun in a while, so you're going to see a lot of
we're looking good.
A lot of pasty people
coming from Sweden. Yeah. Dark 24/7.
We've turned the clock. We're the other way now. Now it's too bright up there. I can't go to sleep.
Summer.
I need these dark. Yeah, we're on our way to
foil up the windows like at the ranch. Come on, block that sun out.
Is that what he used to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. I put the cave. I put the aluminum foil on the window.
Foil on the windows as an NHL player.
That's how you get as black as you can. Little tip of the pros for you kids out there.
Your shitter's full. You should do that with your. Do you have a septic tank at the ranch?
Yep. I had to take that thing off because Betty's flushing everything, and you can imagine down the toilet. Next thing you know, the thing's blowing up, back up the other way. They got the GM call.
The GM was on it.
Betty fucked around with the septic tank again.
Oh, man.
What a beauty. Yeah. What are you flushing paper towels down there?
Exactly.
No, I didn't know. He blames me. I'm not the one flushing
paper
the bad
towels,
things. Among other things. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to our action tomorrow. You're not going to go to the game, or you're going to?
He's coming to the game.
I don't know. I haven't been in the sun. I have 3 little kids at home. So like this is, I sat at the pool today. It's the longest I've had.
We'll see you at Hat Tricks.
Yeah, listen.
I'll come to that. I'm coming to that. I'll be a fan.
He's probably not going to leave Hat Tricks.
I might. Yeah.
Hey, if you're looking for Ben Barr, he'll be at Hat Tricks from
just
3
stay there.
till midnight.
They got good nachos too.
3 to 5 hat tricks. Benny Barr will be there with the crew. He'll be sitting in the corner. We're not going to make him be awesome, but he'll be awesome in his own way. That's on slate for tomorrow before we head to the rink. We got 2 games. Murls, you want to get into some of this, what you expect? I mean, you're the guy. You're even. A lot of people lay on this guy. Like, can you believe this guy now?
I know. Well, I didn't tell you this. Did I tell you the story about the team when our team was practicing? He showed up, and all our guys look over there like, "Hey, there's Murls. How do you guys know who this guy is?"
You're like, don't get me started. They're all following Chiclets.
You're like, oh, hey, Blue.
They're all following him on. I mean, how do you guys shouldn't be following him? But anyway,
is Game Notes the official podcast of NCAA?
I think it is.
I think
we just
right
took it over. We just took it over.
Boom.
We're here. We're on site. We got boots on the ground down here. We got a head coach here.
We're gonna blow this. We're gonna blow this tournament apart. We're gonna have a blast. We're in the sun. We got Benny Barr. We got Ultimate Insider action. All right, we're gonna get into a little bit more of the Frozen Four Murls a little bit later, but I want to transition now. I don't know if you've listened to us. Maybe you should ask some of your players. They probably do. It's a segment we like to call Show or Mindsies. It's where we name something that you think is awesome. It goes to the show. If something's really grinding you, you send them to the Mindsies, where Murls and I spent a lot of time playing, as you're well aware of.
Basically my whole career.
Yeah. It's a real popular thing, and I know we were getting a ton of stuff sent to us all the time. Show, Mindsies, pictures of guys with crazy stuff, like for beer leagues, like this is the Mindsies, what a loser, like trying to get us to carve guys on social media. So thank you to our listeners, viewers, and fans for really enjoying and embracing this segment, which I think is pretty fun. You want to go first with yours?
Yeah, I got one. It's Frozen 4 related. I caught it on Twitter this morning late. The Quinnipiac class of 2017, couple NHL guys, Clifton, Taves, they set up a dinner for the team last night, all expenses paid. I don't know. I think you can do that now. I don't know. Is that allowed? I don't want.
That's allowed for a long time.
Quinnipiac might get thrown out of the tournament. But they picked up a dinner. They set it all up for the team last night when they got into town. So Quinnipiac got here. They had nothing to worry about. The old NHL guys set it up for them from Quinnipiac, the alum.
So that is
show.
I mean, you get a show meal in a show city from your show guys.
Yeah. A couple of the other alumni, too. That whole class chipped in, but I'm sure Tate.
Oh, fuck. Those guys, cut the fucking cord, you guys. Cut the cord. Let them do it on their own. Let them earn it. It was there for you guys when you guys were doing it. Exactly. That's why you do it. Good job, boys. That is show. I love that. You got anything, show? You want me to go? I'll go let you simmer.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
For me, show, I saw a tweet also. This is amazing to me, and I love this stuff because we've raved about Austin Matthews with like most, 5-on-5 goals scored and, through seasons of past, not so much this year. But Adam Rawal, I hope I said his name right, sorry, of the Colorado Hockey Now tweeted, McKinnon has 69 even strength points, guys, in 65 games this year. 69 in 65 games this year. He needs just 2 more even strength points to be a point a game at even strength on the season. Also, 100 points, first 100-point season that he just had. And it's first in Colorado history since Burnaby Joe, old Joe Sakic did it in 06-07. Who doesn't love Joe Sakic? But that, like McKinnon's
he missed a bunch of games too, right?
That's why he's going to be short games, but he's going to be over the point a game threshold if he gets.
Yeah, but I meant more for his first 100-point season. It's on a year where he missed games.
Yeah, he's going to play. So let me see.
After playing until middle of June,
65 games. Or they have 5 or 4 more games left. 4 more games left or something. He's going to play like 69, 70 games, and he's going to have that many points. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. You look at like McDavid and some of these guys that are putting up like 100 power play points or close to. It's pretty amazing what they're doing on the power play, just absolutely crushing it. But what McKinnon, the kind of player he is, that show, you want to get it done, kids. You want to get it done. You get it done 5-on-5 to prove what you're worth. You score goals 5-on-5, they're worth way more than a power play goal. We all think that, I believe. Scoring goals is huge, but 5-on-5 production is absolutely unbelievable.
Well, ask the coach if he,
yeah, like
you read into those stats, 5-on-5 versus power play.
I can't say that we look at that a lot. So is that
just you want points?
Well, yeah. I mean,
we want scoring. We want power play to be good. I don't care who does it.
The power play has to be good no matter what if you're going to win. I think. Yeah. So it's like I think a lot of the points in our world. I don't know. You know better than I. Like how many of the the top guys, how many of those percentages of this power play stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's very rare. I don't know how many times we see a guy get per game at 5-on-5 points. Like that's
That's wild.
Wild and ridiculous the year he's having. That show, that's real. That's a real hockey player. That's how you get it done. McKinnon, we already know he's show, but like that production at that pace, at that rate, at that 5-on-5 area, amazing. That's my show. Let's go now. Let's sit here with the coach.
I don't think I can beat that. But for me, again, I want to thank you guys for allowing me. I don't get to do this kind of stuff very often. So for me, this is my show, is just being here with you guys.
A Chiclets trip.
Yeah,
no, you haven't seen anything yet. Chiclets, we've only been here for a couple hours.
I like, it's me and my old roomie, my old college roomie. Like, this is, he was, are you going to the Frozen Four? I'm like, I'm not going to the Frozen Four. Well, maybe we'll do this thing. I'm only going down there if I can hang out with you for a little bit. That's the only reason. So I appreciate you guys having me here. It's this is the show for me, and then the other thing for me would be just hopefully our team at the University of Maine, and give those guys a shout out. They're back there working out at 6 a.m. every day, and hopefully we can become the show in the next few years and get our program to where it used to be, and so. I appreciate those guys, so I'm sure they'll like to hear that.
Do we got to get you guys sponsored with mosquito spray there? Because, like, I'm from Sasky. I know you guys are up.
Black flies.
Black flies. That's the worst,
I
eh?
don't have the bad mosquitoes. It's a flies in the spring.
Yeah. And they come out there, vacation land or whatever they call it. Yeah, they get in your ears. They get in. Look at my nose. Can you imagine if black flies go up my nose? Good luck getting up there. I can't even breathe through there, though. Black flies. Joke's on you.
Yeah.
Gee, you got show for us?
I do.
At this stuff.
I do. So we are recording Wednesday night. Tonight we dropped our first full-length documentary. It was fucking incredible. So I'm calling the Chiclets production team up to the show this week. Mike McQuaid, Sean Apuzzo, I believe Trent Christensen had a part in editing it, Elliot Fish. It's just, I texted Sean Apuzzo probably 2 years ago on September 11th when I was watching the game on ESPN. Said, hey, I think we should make a documentary about this game. The kid went to work. For the past 2 years, has been grinding on this documentary, McQuaid as well. So it's been so cool to see. I mean, documentaries is something I personally always wanted to do. It's my favorite way to consume content, especially hockey content. So to see these guys, to see the product they put out tonight, and it's really cool. It's something that's opened a new door for us. We're going to be able to go into this world of documentaries and create really cool hockey content, but the Chiclets production team deserves a call up to the show this week. Mike McQuaid, Sean Apuzzo, Elliot Fish, Trent Christensen, they worked their bag off on this doc.
It is really good. I watched it tonight. It dropped at 6:00 Wednesday night. Go on YouTube, watch it. It's that good. It's honestly like beyond pro. It's crazy how in depth, how cool it is, and how cool the characters are, which makes me look even more forward to the game. Almost just over a week from today.
April 15th. It's
going to be awesome. Barstool's putting it on. Spin Chiclets, all involved. Can't wait to be there. Murls and I will be there. All of us will be there. All those guys you mentioned did an unbelievable job. But G's not on camera right now. He's actually crying right now. He's so proud.
I almost felt
I know, a little tear in his eye.
Benny's having such a good time on the trip. Don't be surprised if he shows up in Long Island.
Yeah, he's coming.
I might come down there.
He's coming. Who's the guy on there? Quater's here right now. Who's that guy? Strafer with the handlebar, Quater. You got to see this character. He's an absolute weapon. He's a beast.
So let's go.
Let's ask Quater.
So what was your favorite part of filming this documentary? Who was the biggest character? Kind of run us through some of this.
Bobby Strafer.
Strafer is probably like the character, the goon. He's always lighting people up at practice to get them prepared for the game. So if you have your head down, like you're gonna catch his shoulder red to his chest. But I also think like you don't realize how high level these guys played. Like Dan O'Donohue and Matt Zay, they played at Mercyhurst.
Who are they with?
So one's O'Donohue is with NYPD, and Matt Zay's with FDNY, and they played at Mercyhurst together. And the best part is that they hate each other growing up. They weren't friends, and then they went and played juniors together, and then they went to college and became best friends, and now once a year they just battle it out.
Yeah.
They're not friends or anything, and actually you called Zay out to chuck him at center ice for the game. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be some brawls. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Gee, I was watching this and hearing the interviews. I know I'm supposed to be in the locker rooms and on the bench, trying to get interviewed. I might have to go to the penalty box. There might end up being more guys in the penalty box in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Get some sideline content.
Yeah, you're going to be busy, I think. By the way the documentary went, the way they went after each other, and the way they sold it at the end as well to tee up this game too. Like, we're coming in to kick the shit out of each other. We're going to put on a show. We're here to play. We're here to win. Great job, Quater, to you and your crew. Absolutely, G. That is show. That's beyond show. Like, can you win awards for that? Like that, I watched it tonight. I was like, this is like shit I love.
Tribeca Film Festival.
Yeah.
We're coming for you.
Yeah, you guys deserve it, though. It's very well done. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I highly recommend it. All right, guys, before we go any further, hold on to your horses. I have a big announcement to make. I want to talk to you guys about Chevrolet. Chevrolet is a trusted company that's been innovating for the last 100 years. That's right. That's a long time, 100 years. I could only hope that Chiclets is around for 100 years. Up to now, most electric vehicles have been either too expensive, too small, or too limited in capabilities for most people. That's a fact. Chevrolet is committed to making EVs available for all Americans. When I see someone driving a Chevy, I know they made the good choice. It's a very delicious choice. Way to go. There's a growing network of public charging stations. There are over 1,900 certified Chevy EV dealerships. That's a lot. Chevy has convenient ways to research and shop EVs online. You can find them anywhere. Make sure you go check them out. These EVs are truly beautiful. A nice looking, iconic car. Chevy gives people the confidence to feel and be electric. EVs for everyone, everywhere. Chevy. After that, nowhere else to go but the Mindsies. So let's hear some of the Mindsies. We got Murls, very seasoned. He loves to grind his axe on the Mindsies right now. You've been electric for 6
I played
episodes.
in the Mindsies here. I played in the Mindsies in Switzerland. I played in the Mindsies in Sweden.
Elsvenskan.
So I know the Mindsies. My Mindsies this week is the big show, the real Chiclets, R.A., Biz, and Wit. They went over their mistakes this episode from the episode before. No, that's our job. That's our job to go and chirp them for their mistakes. But they went back and cleaned up a couple of their mistakes. Stop doing that, R.A., Biz, and Wit. You guys are going to the Mindsies after doing that.
That's Chiclets Chirps.
Yeah, now we don't have that segment.
We don't have the segment.
Because they corrected.
I get it.
So that's Mindsies.
Yeah, you know, it's like when you're doing a drill in Maine and it's like falling apart and you're like, oh my God, I can't dumb this drill down enough for you guys. Like, what's going on? And then, you know, the boys are laughing in the room after at you. That's what we do when we do the segment Chiclets Chirp. So stay out of our league. To the boys, I'll say stay out of the league. My Mindsy segment is I got to get after him. I got after him this week a little bit. And Murls, can you, if you can do it without the barrel making an appearance, can you throw me that shirt? There it is, the Jets.
Score right now?
I don't know.
Do we got a score on the Winnipeg Jets?
I'll check right
the
now.
Biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
They call it the game of the season.
The game of the season. They're playing the Flames. Obviously, they're right
I think
there.
The Jets.
I know you think the Jets, and I think the Jets. I like the Jets. Let's see what they are.
Flames are pathetic. They lost to the Chicago Blackhawks last night.
Jets have a game in hand. They're 2 points above Calgary. They're playing each other tonight. It's tied 1-1. I think after, what is it after the first period?
1-1 after 2.
After 2. So
in Winnipeg.
I like Winnipeg. Me and Murls went after Winnipeg hard for loving them. We were loving them. We were riding them for like a month. We're like, this team's unbeatable. They're so good. They're huge. They're the biggest team in the league. They're structured as shit.
Huge
you can't go through them. They've got Hellebuck. They're D-produced, sneakily produced, not just their main guy, Norrisy. And all of a sudden, it's been an embarrassment. It's like I could have picked the Flames just as easily. Winnipeg, you're too good for where you're at. You're too good for the slide you have. You're too good. And now you're having to battle like the jinx team that is the Calgary Flames right now to try to get in the playoffs. You were there. I was thinking in my head, you're going to win the Stanley freaking Cup.
I love how you're addressing the city of Winnipeg. You're looking dead into their eyes.
I'm an alumnus.
He's serious.
I'm a Winnipeg Jet alumnus. Yes, it was with the Thrashers, but there's deep ties into this organization that I have. And I was watching them. I was actually a game between the benches in Pittsburgh. They throttled the Penguins. It hurt my heart to watch it. But I was going after that game. I was going, this team's going to win the Stanley Cup. No one's even really talking about them. They're that good. They're that deep. They're that big. They're that structured. They're that solid. They have the goaltending. They have star power. They have power play specialty. They can do it all. They're gritty. Like, what happened? Wake up, Winnipeg. You're the minors. You're going to the Mindsies. Let's go. I might change my mind after I see the score tonight, though, as they are up 2 points on the Flames. This could be it. This is the biggest game of the year, maybe.
So it's me.
Where are we going, Benny? Mindsies.
So I think I had a Mindsies moment this morning. I had a 5:20 flight out of Bangor. So my Mindsy would be a 45-minute layover connection, and they sell those to you, which is on me to probably buy something like that. But I go to JFK.
Sounds amazing to me, by the way.
But 45 minutes. So we're on time.
No way you make that.
Check bag.
No check
Right,
bag. I
then.
didn't bring much.
All right.
Yeah. So
2 duffel bags. That's all he fucking.
I had a bag.
three main golf shirts. That's it.
That's all it is. That's all I need.
Flip-flops.
I don't wear anything that my wife doesn't buy me or I get for free. So, but we get there on time, no problem. It's like an hour flight from Bangor, not even to JFK. We're stuck. No one's at the gate for 20 minutes. So I got a 45-minute layover, 20 minutes late getting off the plane, full-blown sprint to get to so of course it's in the total other terminal, about a mile and a half. So I made it in a full lather.
Full lather.
The whole for 2 hours.
Were you wearing flippers too?
No, I had
flicker, flicker. Just running through the thing.
no. So I left Maine,
You're going barefoot. He's carrying it there.
but like
That's college.
yeah. So it was
Warts all over your feet, like Trip McNeely from Can't Hardly Wait.
But it was because I was bundled up wintry in Maine when I left. So I got my jacket, everything. I sit down in the plane, and it's a full drip the whole time, and it just not a good start.
Chiclets trip. That we have the worst travel as a team here.
Yeah.
Than anybody. So you're fitting in perfect.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring up my trowel. I know that's kind of Witt's territory, but we'll let it slide. You got a Mindsies there, G?
I'll just keep it quick. Anyone who doesn't watch the NYPD FDNY documentary that you're going to the Mindsies, you scumbags.
I agree. And I'll say this, honorable mention, shout out to the people that sent us the guy in the beer leagues that used a suitcase as a roller bag. That's Mindsies. Everyone agreed. Social media, we started getting trickled into.
I'm never gonna lose this fucking roller bag title that Murls gave me. I have guys that come up to me in bars being like, roller bag rally, and I'm like, no, I swear
He's got a roller bag?
No. Oh. No, one time Murls was just like, you look like the type of guy.
Wrist. We were giving it to him as wrist and can't carry his bag.
Do you know about our beer league hero segment at all?
I've heard it. I mean,
There now.
is that where? Okay, yeah.
You're going to give it to us? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know if you'd known it. So we had a bunch already. The roller bag, don't take long shifts, don't be a hardo. And this one is just recent because, J.J. Watt of NFL fame retired, and then he starts posting about beer league.
Big hockey guy.
Big hockey guy from Wisconsin. Love him, great. And he had this great thing where the guy had a hot dog machine in the locker room. Unreal. And I'm like, this thing is show. Like, I'm ready to put him in the show, J.J. Watt. And then all of a sudden, I take a little bit closer look. I zoom in on the picture a little bit.
That's the detail you're talking about.
Yeah, he knows.
And I look and I see on his helmet, number 99.
It's not football anymore.
Hey, JJ, this isn't the NFL. This isn't football. Nobody wears number 99 besides our friend Wayne Gretzky. So
Wait, so it was on his helmet too?
it was on the helmet.
99?
Because
He's 99.
Could be a lie. I don't know.
Well, because
internet.
I know that he was given the jersey 99 when he played that day. So, but the fact he has it on his helmet, that means he went out and bought the helmet stickers for it,
Or someone else did.
which is
Might have to fact check this.
that is
Yeah,
bad.
you're gonna get
I feel
fact
like
checked.
JJ is a perfect guy that we should have on the pod to talk hockey, a little hockey from him. I know he's a Wisco guy, right? He's a full Caulfield guy, jumped on the big bandwagon for them, but I'd like to have that. Another college guy for you there, Benny.
Yep.
Who are we going to get on the bandwagon for Maine? Who are we getting on the bandwagon? I'm on that, but yeah, no 99 in hockey.
What would you do if a player came and asked you if I want number 99?
Yeah, we just stick to the basic numbers. There's some programs let you, hey, if I want number 73 or something, we're basic up in Maine, you know.
Perfect.
Like, yeah.
That's why we like you, man.
1 through 32 or whatever it is, or 35, but yeah, that's what we are. But Yeah.
Who of sports fame would like jump on the Maine bandwagon? Like, JJ gets on Wisconsin, went there. Like, who could you guys have that could be like a person from Maine, maybe from Bangor that made it?
Not a ton of famous people. I'm looking up notable alumni right now.
Stephen King or something.
Stephen King still lives like in Bangor.
What a nerd! He knows writers. Western League guy would know that.
You know who was, I think, when Sean Walsh was the coach at Maine, Kurt Russell him and Kurt Russell were close. And I think Kurt Russell still has a place in Maine somewhere where he can get away from it all. So that would be a guy if we were lucky enough to get in contact
jump on
with.
the bandwagon. Does he have kids that play?
He did. I think he does. Yeah.
Holy, right? He plays the All-Star game, like the shootout competition thingy with Zeke.
I would hope we could show him that it would be worth getting back involved again, and we got to do our part.
We need a spokesperson. We need a main celeb to come out.
And that's Herb Brooks and Miracle.
Yes.
That would be a big thing for us.
That's what we need. Get the dressing room done, get it all dialed in, and we're going to recruit someone for you guys, because I'm a good recruiter too.
Perfect.
I got that little bit of I'm a salesman kind of.
Yeah.
Hey, big boy.
Get you on the staff here at UMaine too.
Hey, there it is. You got Murls cleaning up the league. Rule number 6, don't wear 99.
And that goes for all the leagues. Youth hockey, don't let your kid wear 99. There's a bunch of guys in Russia that wear it.
Hey, you know what?
Show some respect. The guy,
I don't want to ruin the next one, but I remember when we used to go down to the Nick.
All right, we're gonna get a rule number 7. This is a two-rule segment. I love it. This is two-rule episode.
He used to drag me down when he was still playing. I wasn't playing anymore, and I was not like I don't want to. I'm just not really. I'd never really been a men's league guy as a coach, so whatever. But the Nick Arena, you bring me down there in the summer, and I think it was your equipment guy from the River. It was when you were with the River Rats. You take one-timers all the time. Whiz them over. It should be you can't take a one-timer. It's dangerous.
No one-timer.
Yeah, it's going to get you in the face. Like you'd whiz it over your head all the time, and you were playing still.
Yeah. That's a great rule. No one-timers.
No one-timers. Yeah.
You don't know what. Like, there's no way a beer leaguer knows where.
No, those guys.
No.
They got like
Baz would probably do.
They got a
like
stick that they use, like a CCM Vector that's like blue from 2004 that our buddy played in the American League that gave it to them. They're still using it. They don't know where the hell that thing's going. Nope. Get out of town. You got. You can't do it.
Roller
bag. If you roll into the ring with a roller bag, no one-timers allowed.
Do you remember who that guy was?
Oh yeah, Jake McGrath.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I'm like, hey, I'm out of here. I'm not. No mask on. I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this.
But it's you got to know that as a pro. You got to know what level you're playing at, and you just you don't go near the net. When you see that guy getting wound up, you just move away.
Yeah,
you're lucky if you get numbers in beer league on your jersey, if it's not like random.
But the hot dogs was cool. That hot dog machine is big.
I want to play hockey.
I play in one at with Kevin Kennedy, and what they do is they get the pizza delivered to the parking lot after. So there's 2 coolers of beer. They get 2 24 cuts delivered to the parking lot. So you just rush out, shower. Don't rush out too quick. You shower and then go out to the parking lot. Pizza's there, the beers in the summer. That's a good move too.
That's a GM move. That's something you would do. Organize the pizzas, right? Moving on, riding the bus, something we can all relate to. Segment we like to do where we hit on some action around all over the place. We'll keep this one pretty quick. Just we've been heavy this episode, but Murls, you want to give a shout out? Riding the bus, to a certain team.
Yeah, I did it last year on the Real Chiclets, and they repeat it. The Binghamton Bearcats. They won the AAU Club Hockey National Championship, and it's really funny that Benny Barr is here, because he knows my doctor, John O'Brien. You know John, and his son is the captain, Jack O'Brien. And they won it again, and the great story about them, why I like to bring them up, there's a lot of championships going on. They do it without a coach. They don't even have a coach. They're all there on their own money. They're all there funding themselves, and had to give them a shout out. They repeat it, won another championship. So let's hope
Captain Jack.
Yeah.
Is he player coach? Is he like
yeah, he's the captain, and they just keep winning. So maybe he's coming for Benny's job soon.
Yeah.
Could be. Good man though, O'Brien's.
Yeah.
Good people.
I want to give a shout out. I don't know if you think of anyone yourself. I know you've been bombing around. You're at talking to people where they at the U14 nationals. A lot of hockey going on, just finishing up. That's why we're here. It's Frozen 4, but a certain video, and that's why I want to give a shout out. It went viral the other day. The Balcarres Bronx They won their senior hockey title in the Capel Valley Highway Hockey League. I mean, how fucking awesome is that? And these beauties were in this little shithole barn, and they're like perfect Sasky barn, and they're some are like tarps off, no upper gear. Some are full gear. Buddies drive the Zamboni full gear. They're loaded up on the Zammer, ripping around, hoisting the trophy, cheering, crushing beers, driving the Zammer in small town Sasky, little area right between Regina and Yorkton. So shout out to you guys for the awesome celly. And you guys got to understand, like, being from Saskatchewan, like, this drives these little towns, right? Like, the place to go in these little towns is the rink, is the curling rink, and the rink joined if you're lucky enough to have a curling rink. But you go to these rinks on Friday nights when the games are, or whenever they have them, and they bring in ringers. They'll pay people to come in. It's crazy. And, you know, they stack their little teams, but you win your league in those. That's what keeps the life of this town going for like 8-month winters of nothingness. Going down there, having a couple drinks and cheering on the local car dealer's kid, you know, like, it's like,
Should Game Notes make a little trip up there?
we should. I got to find out what the best, I know there's like I don't know if it's old, like the Wild Goose League is one of them, but like some of these leagues, we got to find out which the best one is and go to the final. Like, there's been some crazy stuff that has gone on in some of these leagues, just small town stuff that's awesome. But you guys know this too. You don't get a better burger than some little small town or fries or something. You know, there's always some little poop.
I'm a big poutine guy. Like, that's where Benny's recruiting all his kids.
And you know what? They'd be happy to have us because I think they're still waiting to get Big Deal Brews up there in Sasky. So you might have to unleash.
We'll work on it.
Are we up there yet?
Not yet, but
I get hit up a little bit. When's it coming up here? When's it coming up here? So Sasky, there's your shout out.
We're coming to Canada soon, though. We are coming to Canada soon.
We're coming to Canada soon. All right, Barstool Sportsbook segment. Murls, I got to get some numbers off you here. I got to get to some EBR action. Just quickly from you.
Yeah, quick
until tomorrow.
Quick recap. Last month, first loss ever for me on Chiclets Game Notes, game of the month. Your team, Vecchio, screwed me. They won the 2 games before, then they won the 4 games after the game of the month, but they lost that game. Team that I bet against lost every other game but that game, but whatever. We're on to new things. Munchin, Red Bull, one of our favorite teams for 2 years now, 3 years now, EBR. They lost at home the other night. They'll be back at home Saturday, still in the playoffs. They will not lose at home again to that team. Munchin, 3-way. Munchin, Red Bull, DL, 3-way. And then for the Armor play of the week, or play of the month.
We're doing some Frozen 4 action.
It's got to be Frozen 4. We're down here. My favorite game of the whole thing, my lock, I would say, if I can say lock, would be Minnesota. The line is tough. Minnesota's minus 197 on the money line.
What do you always do? What do
you're not a big. I'm a 3-way. I'm a 3-way guy.
I'm gonna go.
So I'm minus 120 on the 3-way in my blog. I really like that.
Can I change it?
It's called the Armor play. So
okay, I want to do puck line.
Puck line. Minnesota
minus 1.5.
I would say that's probably going to be plus 150, plus 155 on Barstool Sports book.
The juice.
I'm in. We're going to get a blowout. We're going to get a blowout against BU.
We're going to have an empty netter probably or something. Who cares?
Yeah,
it's
puck
awesome.
line Jesus there.
Puck line Jesus. That's what we're looking for.
I like it. All right.
There's the Armor.
Official Armor play. Minnesota Gophers minus 1.5. Thursday, I believe the game is at 5 p.m.
Is it 5:30?
Yeah.
5 p.m. 5 p.m. We'll have boots on the ground.
We'll be there. Queeter will have cameras in her.
I will sneak in Pink Whitney Nips or Big Deal Brews if we need rallying.
Get it over the line. Whatever we have to do. Yep. I haven't been with you yet, Murls, for a Game Notes trip, so this should be interesting with G and the boys here.
And we'll also be at Hat Tricks 3 to 5 on Thursday. Come by. It's supposedly the best hockey bar in the country, according to Migs.
So we didn't lose Benny yet. Benny, you're going to be there too, right? Like, we're going to haul you out of there. You're going to be
there. A bunch of other guys, a couple other pros that are scouts and coaches I know are all stopping by. It's going to be the spot to be before the game. I just hope we get out of there.
I heard it's the spot too.
We might have to go at noon, so we actually do leave by 5.
So everyone tells me it's their favorite spot. People that live here that I know that go there just to like have some beers and watch a game and drink. So Benny, you're gonna come down there. It'll be the easiest
I'll be there.
thing ever. If there's fucking people there, you'll just be like, "Let's go. We'll help you out."
I'll put on one of those nice blue Maine shirts.
Blue Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
Do you guys know?
Looks good.
That's my color right there, the baby blue. Maybe I should have been a Maine. I should have maybe been a Maine guy.
Probably should have.
And I want to tee up a few more things. I'm doing TNT on Sunday. I'll be in there on Sunday. So right from here, from the Frozen Four guys, I'll be heading.
You were unreal on the other night.
Thanks,
the one I stayed up. Like my wife's like yelling out, "Why are you still awake?" I'm like, Biz and Army are on.
Yeah, I know.
TV. I got to stay up for it. I had to stay up for it.
It's pretty electric, pretty fun. So I'll be in there. I'll get one more crack at it before playoffs here. Then who knows what'll.
Are you getting any playoff shifts?
I don't know. I'm kind
Come on, TNT. Try it out. Shifts.
Yeah, let's go TNT. Come on, I'm doing pretty good.
Game notes.
Get him up to the show. Get him.
Game notes. Get me to the show. Like I don't care. Throw me down between the benches. I like that too. Like.
I want to shout you out also for our boys on the Rink Shrinks. You went on there. Great episode. All the guys with kids, you got to listen to them. You were great on there talking youth hockey and your whole experience.
Buddy, I got so many texts about that.
Yeah,
like they put out that one little like graphic with the thing I said. They did a good job. Those guys are beauties. But like I got so many text messages about like, oh, we need to talk about this. This is.
Can you just break it down real quick? Like, we don't have to get too deep into it. We're at the end of the show, but like, can you just break down what you did say on that graphic, like about youth hockey development?
Well, I just think that like, I think it's what we see in the NHL is one thing, but like the development of kids for me personally and seeing is just like making the same player, and for kids to understand and for coaches too and development, that just because you're one way doesn't mean that's the way to be. And if you're not like everyone else stuffed in a box of skill and speed and trying to be like McDavid, that you suck, because you don't. Because, look at a guy like Hyman who's packing his bank account, lighting it up too. Like you need a lot of different things and you need to be good at a lot of different things to be a really good hockey player. And I think we need to focus in development a lot more on nurturing, kids that have different skill sets or are trend to a different side, that they're not in that box doesn't mean they suck. And I got a lot of text messages about that, which I think I'm right too. So
I think you're right. Yeah. No, I think I see. I go around and see it everywhere, and there's a lot of players. I could say from personal experience and players that I've coached at different schools that are playing outside of the Kale McCars. It's those other guys that you're talking about that can be the third, fourth liners, like what you guys.
Yes.
Turn yourself
find those guys.
Trying to find those guys. And we can, in our world, if we find those guys, we can win national championships with those kind of guys, but they get overlooked quite often. So it's a really good point.
Because they don't want to be like that. They want to be the other guys. Of course you do, but like we need to just tell them that it's okay. You're good. You're good like that. So that's where it went a little bit of pop on that. We got NYFD game on Saturday the 15th. We'll be there for that.
Live streams. We're going to be live streaming the start of the NHL playoffs with all the big boys. Biz, Whit will be in town. It's always fun when we get in there with the Barstool office. And
so lots to stay tuned. Lots to stay tuned for. Check out the documentary on YouTube that just came out for that game as well. And we'll be here all week, so stay tuned for a lot of stuff. I'd like to thank Benny Barr, head coach, University of Maine, for joining us here at the Frozen Four. Murls just flew in from Sweden. Boys, thank you. Anything else, boys?
No. Watch the doc, baby. Watch the doc. April 15th, we're coming to UBS.
Yeah, we'll be there. So that's it. We're going to shut her down.
Let's go Gophers, I guess.
Let's go Gophers tomorrow for the Armor.
Thank you guys for having me. It was awesome. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Benny, tell your guys, check the game notes.